Why higher weapon rarities need to return in Borderlands 4. What's up everyone? We're going to be talking about one of the most talked about topics in the Borderlands community right now. So our first reason that we need higher weapon rarities to return in Borderlands 4 is more loot, more excitement. If you've been playing Borderlands for as long as I have, you know that the thrill of finding new loot is what keeps us coming back. But here's the thing, legendaries have been the top dogs for a while now, and it's starting to feel like we've seen it all. The true excitement of opening a chest or taking down a boss should have more weight to it. Imagine finding a weapon that not only looks stunning, maybe even outlandishly crazy, but also comes with unique traits or abilities that we've never seen before. Higher rarity weapons like Pearlescence did that in past games like Borderlands 2, and it's time to bring that vibe back. These weapons shouldn't just be better than legendaries. They should completely change the way you play. Maybe they have some insane synergy with skills, or brand new modifiers that challenge your playstyle. Finding something truly unique and rare would keep that rush alive, even in the late game. It's about injecting some real surprise back into our loot drops. We're talking about making those endgame chests, vaults, and enemies feel even more rewarding. It's not just about getting loot, it's about that constant building excitement every time you encounter a new drop. There's nothing better than knowing there's always that one item you could find, and the anticipation keeps you hooked. Reason number 2, endgame power boost. Alright, let's talk about the grind. One of the things that keeps Borderlands players hooked for hundreds of hours is the feeling of constantly leveling up, finding new gear, and refining your build. But when you've hit max level, farmed every legendary in sight, and seen most of the endgame content, what's next? The grind starts to lose its edge. That's where higher rarity tier weapons can really step in. We've all been there, running around with our legendaries, feeling like we've hit our peak. But what if there was an even bigger power spike waiting for us? Introducing an even rarer tier of weapons gives us something to work towards. It extends the life of the game by giving us goals to strive for in the late end game. Now, think about how this could impact boss fights, or even regular gameplay. Maybe these rare weapons introduce new abilities or synergies that change the entire flow of a build. Maybe you can combine powers in a way that you can't with legendary loot. Higher tier weapon rarities would allow for deeper, more creative builds, ones that force us to think outside the box. It's not just about stats. It's about pushing the boundaries of what we can do in the game. When you're working towards these endgame weapons, it feels like you're unlocking new gameplay possibilities rather than just getting stronger. Reason number 3, a stronger community economy. One of the most underrated aspects of Borderlands is how the community comes together over loot. From trading to showing off that one insane find, loot plays a huge part in the game's social fabric. But right now, we're limited by the legendary tier, which honestly, everyone has at this point. There's less of that wow factor, and it's becoming more difficult to get excited about trading loot. Introducing an even higher rarity tier would inject new life into the community economy. Imagine this, you finally find that one pearlescent tier weapon, and it's not just about its stats, it's about what it represents. That's an item that's so rare, so sought after, it becomes currency in itself. Maybe these ultra rare weapons are tradable. Maybe they're used as bragging rights in competitive play, but either way, they would elevate the entire culture of loot sharing within the Borderlands community that we have not seen in a long time. And let's talk about flexing for a moment. Because honestly, who doesn't want to show off the rarest loot? Pearlescent weapons did this in past games. Players were hunting for them, trading them, and proudly showing them off to the community. That's the kind of hype that keeps games alive and thriving. The rarity of these items would fuel conversations, trades, and fan theories. People would actively search for these items and compete for them in a way that's actually meaningful. The return of a higher rarity tier would not just improve the loot system, it would redefine the way the Borderlands community interacts with loot. It could make trading more dynamic, and it could make every loot drop feel like a potential game changer. If Gearbox wants to take Borderlands 4 to the next level, this is a feature that would build on everything we love about the game. On to the next reason, more customization and creativity for builds. One of the things we all love about Borderlands is the insane variety in how we can build our characters. From tweaking skills to experimenting with different weapons, there's a lot of room for creativity. But what happens when you've maxed out the legendary options and you're looking for something fresh to spice up your build? Higher rarity weapons would provide new avenues for customization and make every build feel more personal. Imagine finding a weapon that's not just about raw damage, but instead introduces completely new mechanics. Maybe it synergizes with specific skills, or adds buffs that affect your team in unexpected ways. This would open up even more strategic layers to consider, especially when you're trying to create the perfect endgame loadout. A higher rarity weapon could be the key to unlocking new build possibilities. Something that could completely change the way you play. It wouldn't just be about stacking damage anymore. It would be about balancing, experimenting, and finding the perfect synergy that suits your playstyle. These weapons could also have unique elemental effects, custom modifiers, or even multi-tiered skill bonuses that would encourage players to rethink their entire approach to combat. The possibilities would be endless, and that's what we need to keep the game exciting and allow players to express themselves in new ways. And our final reason why higher rarity tiers should return to Borderlands 4 is a bigger sense of accomplishment and reward. Let's face it, one of the most rewarding feelings in gaming is working hard for something rare, and in Borderlands, that's all about the loot grind. But when legendary weapons are the ceiling, it can sometimes feel like the grind has an upper limit. There's no greater feeling than getting a weapon that's so rare, it feels like you've earned something that's truly special. By adding a higher rarity tier, you're not just adding a new color to the loot pool, you're adding a whole new sense of achievement. These weapons wouldn't just be a minor improvement over legendaries, they'd be game changers. You wouldn't just be farming for legendaries anymore, you'd be hunting down something really rare, something that feels earned and meaningful in the context of the game's progression. Higher rarity weapons would also bring back the thrill of competition. You find yourself chasing these items in an effort to become the best, not just in terms of power, but in terms of prestige. Being the player who has the most insane weapons, or the first one to acquire a new rare item, would mean something real. This type of system doesn't just make you stronger, it gives you the validation and satisfaction that you've earned something legendary, pun intended. So now we've got 5 solid reasons why higher rarity tier weapons need to return in Borderlands 4. And those again are more loot, more excitement, a new level of thrill in every drop, endgame power boost, pushing the limits of your builds and gameplay, a stronger community economy, fueling trading and showcasing rare loot, more customization and creativity, giving players fresh ways to design unique builds, and finally, a bigger sense of accomplishment and reward, offering a tangible reward for dedicated players. If Gearbox wants to make Borderlands 4 a truly unforgettable experience, these ultra rare weapons are the way to do it. But I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. What do you think? Would you be hyped to see these kinds of weapon rarities in the next game? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this Borderlands video, be sure to hit that like button. That way it can get out to other Borderlands fans just like yourself, and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands content just like this. I hope to see you all back here for the next Borderlands video, and until then, Vault Hunters, peace out.